Now, let me just say something before I get into it, because one of the criticisms, there's some stuff been going on one app that's spilling off to another app, and so it's all kind of stuff going on all the apps. And one of the criticisms, I want to address some of the misunderstandings and criticisms today. Now, one of the criticisms of ADOS is that we never criticize our own. Now, we do that with the CBC and other things, but I want to take a moment to criticize our own right here, today, right now. Let me just say something. I have been watching how people move, and there's something that's coming up that is just, before we get into the meat of what today's show is about, there is something that is going on that is amiss. And it needs to be cleared up. It's not one person. I've seen it from like at least 4 or 5 people coming on different apps and saying something that sounds very familiar. ADOS is a lineage. It's a lineage. Anybody is the lineage. It's just a lineage. Let me just tell you something. If you feel like it is just a lineage and it's nothing else, and there is no movement work, and there is nothing to be fought for politically, if that's how you feel, you are not in line with what we're doing. Yes, you are ADOS, but there's another place for you. You can go do FBA, because that's what they do. They bump their gums and talk about how they are lineage, and they don't do anything. There's no movement work, but they just claim being Native Black American. If that is how you feel, you need to lead or move or do whatever you're going to do in the FBA space, because that's what they do. They're just a lineage. They don't do nothing else. They say the culture going to get it popping or whatever. That's your home. Go home. Don't come showing up on all these apps talking about it's a lineage when we have been very, very clear. See, you're confusing people in order to get some shine for yourself. And we're going to have to talk about that before we get into anything else. So for those who say, Yvette, you never criticize your own people, you never check your own people, pay attention, because I'm checking you right now. It's some stuff that's been going on. You want to come on to all these spaces and say, you know you FBA at heart. Just go be that. Well, you can just talk. You can talk and you can thump your chest and make yourself feel good and have a big party, and you feel real strong, like you built muscles and you lifted weights and you had a lot of protein. Whatever. Go do that. We have always been clear. ADOS101.com has been up for a long time. Even before we did the 501c4. ADOS101.com was always up. I mean, for a long time. What's like a year now? We have always said there has to be some kind of politics to fix this. The politics that we decided on was reparations. We have always been clear on who we are and how we stand. We are a lineage, but part of the reason for creating that in the way that we did, in the way that you create anything, the Cherokee said the same thing to Elizabeth Warren. They said, ma'am, excuse us, but we are also a political movement. We are a lineage anchored in a political movement, because the part of the reason that you have to define the lineage is you have to define the cost. You have to define the cost that we bore as ADOS, American descendants of slavery. You have to define that, and you cannot do that without disaggregating and making that cost very, 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 very clear. I just want to make that clear. It's been up a long time. It's been up for like 2 years now, ADOS101.com. You don't get to reinvent the wheel because you think you special or whatever you think. We have chapters that are doing political work. So let me just tell you, anybody who is on all of these apps and got their gums bumping because they feel special, they are egocentric, and they are diminishing and minimizing the work that chapters actually do. Chapters do political work. Everybody who was out at the Supreme Court, everybody who has been having conversations with legislators, everybody who has been interviewing policymakers, I don't care whether you ADOS LA, ADOS Atlanta, everybody who has been doing political work, understand that people who say it's just a lineage are being very disrespectful to not only me, but to the work that you have been doing, and this will not stand. You don't get to appoint or redefine anything. Not over here, not now, not ever. Nobody's going to have that. Who do you think you are to come in here and redefine something? If you want it to just be a lineage, there is a person who has cloned ADOS and said, instead of having ADOS, I'm going to make mine just a lineage so I can make money off of it. You need to be over there. Don't keep trying to reinvent stuff. We are a political movement. We are going in a specific direction for American descendants of slavery. If you don't want to go in that direction, hop off the train. Don't grift off of it. Don't do none of that stuff. Just hop off the train. This is not just a lineage. This is a lineage, and we have it's anchored in a, it's a political movement. You could say it's either one. Political movement anchored in a lineage anchored in a, those things go together like the hands, two hands. Or one hand, like two hands, one without the other. What's the point of it? Let me just say this. I know I get fired up, but let me just say this. Before I get into, because I had to say this before I get into anything. What is the point of us just having a new name? Yeah, it's fine to call ourselves what we are. But what's the point of that? You might as well be B1. You might as well be FBA. You might as well be Black Lives Matter. If you just wanted a new name and you didn't want the reparations and the redress that comes with it, I don't know what we're doing together. That's FBA's project or lack of project. That's their vanity project. That's not us. So you got to be honest about who you are and what you want, and walk into the doors of FBA, because that's what they do. They're just a lineage. That is a specific space designated for you. But don't go around doing this stuff and making this stuff like it's like this is what we do over here. Now,